tried this content thing, and I still will. I still will try this content thing just because um, I know within I know it's a common observation within my peers. It's a common observation within my peers, within my personal life, that um, my morality at least is, I'm not gonna say more than others, but my morality at least is um, present. I should say it's present when it comes to who I am. It's My morality is very present, and naturally I try to share that sense of morality and that sense of um, ethics to my to whoever's within my life, family, friends, and so on and so forth. And understanding that, I started to realize that I have the opportunity and I've had the possible platform to not only share within others within my life, but also to y'all. So I can understand why I fall short. I could understand that, and I could and I try to dissect how can I pick myself back up. I could understand how to dissect where my faults lie and where my strengths lie, and I feel like it's a very positive thing, right? But as of lately, um, things have been going fast, very fast. Um, I'm a first year undergrad and I'm already a sophomore, basically. And I know people always say it all the time, oh, time just flies by, time just flies. But if I were to explain how time just flies, it's a quote, but it it really does. I'm already a sophomore now, technically. I'm a first year, but it's finals week. After finals week, yeah, three more years. Um, I manifest this within my life, and I truly do believe it that my success is inevitable. I truly do believe that my success is inevitable. No matter where I go, no matter what I do, no matter what I follow, I know that my success is inevitable. But um, with that inevitability, my life has kind of been moving fast. I feel like my time has been. I feel like my time has been getting rushed, especially last week. It feels like time is speeding up, and I'm not really grasping my day to day life. At my current university, and I say current because next year I'll be transferring. This was my dream school. This was my dream university, and thankfully I got in. Thankfully I got into my dream university. But as time went on, I started to realize that um, my values and my potential wasn't necessarily um, they weren't being appreciated. Is that the word? There's probably a better word. I don't want to say appreciated, but I don't feel as though my potential, what I was giving to the university, was being reciprocated back, or that I was being valued as an individual, or that I was being valued as a student. I felt as though I was being valued as a dollar sign, you know, some type of another student that's just paying tuition. That's how I started to feel. And once I started to realize that, that's when my perspective started to change on whether or not this university, and I'm not going to say their name, I'm not going to say the university name, but that's when I started to realize that maybe this just isn't the place for me. And that's fine. That's fine. This is a very great institution, but I don't believe that it's for me. And so I'd be transferring in hopes of a more enlightened opportunity and more in hopes of a better financial situation, in hopes of expanding my horizon. But I feel as though I was being more so seen as a dollar sign instead of a individual student with ambitions, with intelligence, or the itch for intelligence, the drive for ambitions. Um, I mean, of course, I mean, I'm young, right? I'm still young, but I'm at the age where I'm getting older. That's fine. I'm at the age where I'm getting older, but I'm still young, and of course, I want to learn everything. I really do, right? My current major, I didn't switch majors, but before coming here, I wanted to be a sports medicine student. I wanted to do sports medicine, but coming in, I changed to international business, right? I want to be into international business. I want to expand my horizons beyond the borders of my country and well, Maryland. But now I want to change to physics, and I'm not saying that because like I'm indecisive. I'm not indecisive. There's a common denominator with all those things besides sports medicine. I adore numbers. I adore how numbers dance and how they twiddle with each other, and how I enjoy the patterns of numbers in mathematics. I truly believe that's absolutely beautiful. When I was younger, I used to be in the magic school bus like deeply, right? I used to be not even just the magic, but that's kind of like my origins of it. I used to be in a magic school bus. I used to do brain. I think it was called Brain Pop or something like that. No, not the little orange robot. It was a brain textbook. It was something called like Brain something. I used to do those for fun, and a lot of it was like the mathematics section. I didn't touch English. Didn't touch that. But physics is beautiful to me. And although I'm aware that it's challenging, but that's not. I went to university. I went to college for the challenge. I went to college to expand and to challenge myself. So why shouldn't I? Especially being in like the business program. Kudos to the business professors. Kudos to this university's business professors and their ways of teaching. Kudos to them. But when it comes to the actual curriculum of business majors in general, um, I feel as though I could challenge myself more. To me, business just seems like common sense with a little bit of mathematics sprinkled in. And I found myself not being challenged. And I came to college for the challenge. I did. I came to college for the challenge. I say all of that because the first year is already over. I'm already changing. I'm already not even changing majors, but changing locations. Naturally, my life moves fast, and it's not a bad thing. Naturally, my life moves fast, right? Even back when I was in high school, I would dance between my main sport and my side sport. Granted, respectfully speaking, I was top tier in both, right? I was, I excelled in both, right? Respectfully, I excelled in both my sports, and even beyond that, I was within my orchestra, and I was in all counties. So like, I was in my two sports along with doing music, and even beyond that, I was still a student, and so I was a 4.1 student. So I mean, I'm used to this, right? I'm used to this. To me, that's normal. I could balance that, but my life does move fast, and there's a beauty to speed, right? There's a beauty to speed. I love speed. I love velocity. I love peak performance. I admire peak performance so much when it comes like the Olympics. That's what I wanted to do with international business. I wanted to be a part of the International Olympic Committee. That was my main goal, being a part of the International Olympic Committee, because like I'm so fascinated in peak performance, how far you can push a human body to its limits, how fast you can really how fast you can engineer a car to suitably go, you know, understanding how light interacts with I'm just understanding speed in general. Um, my life was fast, but over time I started to realize that I started to lose control of the speed. Right, I started to lose control of the speed. Instead of looking through the instead of looking through the front window of my car, I started to look through the side, and I started to get overwhelmed by the speed of how fast my life goes. And so for what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, not even that. I would say 3 months ever since my last upload. Yeah, pretty much ever since my last upload. Um, as you can see, there's a lot that changed. So there's a lot that changed since my last upload, but comparing my last upload to now, I'm abandoning what I used to kind of portray. I'm abandoning what I kind of used to try to post. Um, Mainly because that's not who I am. Beforehand, that's not who I was. I was trying to kind of take the easy way out. I was kind of compensating for who I truly am. I don't play games. I barely play games. The only game I play is Left 4 Dead. That's literally the only game I play is Left 4 Dead. So Left 4 Dead 2. That's the only game I play. Other than that, I don't play games. And so I tried creating this into like a gaming channel, and I'd be compensating for what I stand for. That's not who I am. This to me is much more aspirated into what I stand for and who I am and what I want to portray and what I want to show. So I'm never afraid of change. Change is a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. If you're able to change your perspective, if you're able to change your trajectory, your faith towards Jesus, if you're able to change your perspective, um, if you're comfortable with change, that's a beautiful thing. A change in location, a change in majors, a change in anything. Understanding that change will happen and not fearing it, that's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. So I'm always changing, and everyone is. You're always changing. The world always is changing. Now, it's never always for the better, right? It's never always for the better. But you have to see the greater things in life when it comes to changes. And everything's perspective. My perspective may differ from yours. I want to say thank you to all my fans. Y'all know that's Kendrick. But this is much more, in terms of change, this is much more aspirated into what into what and who I am and what I want to portray. But my life's been moving fast. And a thing that kind of accelerated it and accelerated that feeling and kind of made me dizzy within that speed of change was social media. Now I always advocate. I don't go on TikTok at all. Zero, zilch, nada. Unless like someone sends me a TikTok and I have to watch it, I don't go on TikTok at all. I don't go on TikTok. Not even recently, I always delete Instagram. There's never a period where I have Instagram for more than a month. But I don't go on Instagram. I don't go on TikTok. The main thing that I usually go on is YouTube, and that's just for like basketball updates on the NBA. Let's pray that the Wizards. It is. Let's pray that the Wizard. First of all, speaking of the NBA, let's pray that the Wizards get the number one pick. All right. Thank you. What was I speaking about? Should I go on the Wizards ramble? Next video we're going on the Wizards ramble. Ooh, next video we're going on the Wizards ramble. My bad. My bad. But what's that talking about? Social media. That's what it was, right? That's what it was. And so I don't go on social media anymore. Now there's a lot of positives to that, but of course there's negatives to that, right? In terms of like the main negative, you're not up to date, not only with people. Forget being up to date with people. People are just gonna post their highlights of their life, right? Forget that. Forget like keeping up to date with like your circle. It's more so keeping up to date what's happening within the world. I didn't know, but apparently like some cruise ship got hit with a yeah. So I didn't know that until like a couple days after. So even within that, um, major politics. In terms of politics, I'm gonna digress on that mainly because today especially, politics are meant to divide, which is it's disgusting. It is. No matter what party you are a part of, I don't necessarily even believe in the party system, but no matter in reality, no matter what party you believe in, um, it's meant to divide, which it's disgusting, right? Um, but I'm gonna digress on that. But with the lack of social media, mm, you're not gonna be up to date as much when it comes to current events, and that's kind of for the better. That's not for the better, but it's a it's a pick your poison type of thing. Now, one thing I will say when it comes to like news and how you hear about things, more than most likely you're going to hear about it from a neutral standpoint, especially when you don't have social media. When it comes to social media, everybody wants to get the first word out, and they want to get the not only the first word, but have that first word be kind of diluted to a lot of people. And so you got to get that extreme. You got to go to the most extreme to kind of get everyone's attention. When it comes to news, you're more susceptible to actually hearing within a suitable, reliable, or peer-reviewed um, report. You start understanding that a lot of the news, especially today, is to push an agenda, is to push an opinion instead of push a factual statement. So I don't go on social media. I don't. I used to. Just like how I used to kind of, just how with this channel, I used to post on social media. I used to try to do gym content, which isn't bad. Gym content isn't bad. But then I started to realize that as I started posting, I started to the internal joy of me going to the gym started to get started to dwindle away. I started focusing more on the camera instead of me actually getting my workout in, which it's a pick your poison type of thing once again. But I started to focus more on the camera instead of the actual workout. And even with the actual workout, I started to realize that over time, naturally, I'm going to have to get bigger and bigger, or I'm going to have to do something to stand out. And I don't think, I mean, all right, whatever, whatever. Shit, I think I'm funny. Whatever. I think I'm funny. But I don't think I'm internet funny. You know, I don't think I'm internet funny where I could just like I don't want to be internet funny. I'm not a nah, I don't want to be internet funny, bro. I'm only funny to the people I know in real life. I could crack a joke, but internet funny, nah. I'm not about to nah, nah. Cause God forbid my joke land flat. Mm-mm. Yeah, I got that. But um, I started to realize that like me posting that gym content, I started focusing more on the camera instead of my actual workout, and so and then I started to like foresee that uh mm, the body dysmorphia, the body dysmorphia when it comes to like how you view yourself compared to others and so on and so forth. Couldn't do it. And then I'd have to feel obligated to not go to the gym just to stay in shape, but I have to go to the gym to make content. I I dislike that a lot, and so I kind of abandoned that. Um, but I don't go on social media, and I would highly recommend that you don't as well. Trust me, when you delete social media, you're not missing out on anything. Now, ask yourself, what are you being informed? Like, what currently you're on social media? You scroll on TikTok, you scroll on Instagram, you scroll on Reels, whatever. What is it that you're not missing out on? Is it laughter? Entertainment? Now, communication, sure. I know that especially within Instagram, a lot of people, I don't have their numbers, but I have their Instagram. And so that's kind of like the common way to give context. I was through Instagram. Excuse me. Hey, do you have your Instagram? This and that, this and that. I understand that. I could understand that. But the main aspect of what Instagram and TikTok are is the reels, is the TikToks, is the For You page. What are you missing out on? If you what are you missing out on if you delete it? Because when you really boil it down, what are you truly missing out on? A quick laugh, a quick dopamine. I hate that word so much. The dopamine guru. I hate it so much, bro. I'm not him. This isn't no guru stuff. This isn't guru. This isn't guru stuff. This is sophistication. You feel me? This isn't no guru, red pill, blue pill, black pill, matrix. No, this is sophistication over here. Okay, this is elevation. This is sophistication. This is elevating your intelligence. This isn't guru stuff. This is a field and a community of sophistication. Okay, but even with me not having social media, even with me not going on social media, I started to, especially as of recently, I started to realize that um, my attention is not necessarily dwindling away, but more so, I'm starting to realize that, and this is also for you as well. This is also for you as an individual as well. That our attention is bargained for. Our attention is fished for, right? A lot of things fish for our attention. Even beyond advertisements, you have YouTube, right? As soon as you scroll on YouTube, you have a plethora of just videos you could choose. Thank God you chose this one, but you have a plethora of videos you can choose, and within all those videos, you have multiple thumbnails that just blast you with flashy colors and red circles and red arrows. And that's why I want to keep it simplistic. That's why I want to keep it simplistic. I don't want to overdo the editing, right? Not because I'm lazy. Of course, I love editing. I really do. But I want to keep it simple because there is a beauty into being able to calm your attention, calm your attention span, really relax yourself, and really gather yourself within a space and breathe, and not just go on to the next thing. That's why I've been holding this video off for so long. Is this because that's what I've been doing. I just been going on for the next thing instead of sitting down and and really doing something. I haven't been able to just sit down and collect myself. And I do practice meditation. I do practice meditation. Not in the form of like no, not that. No, I don't do that. My form of meditation is sitting out in nature, mainly by like some type of natural movement when it comes to like I don't know trees or a river or a stream of water, something like that, or the sunset going down, something where it's calm, natural movement. I sit there, no phone, no no phone, no wallet, no keys, just me and my thoughts. Even within my form of meditation, I haven't been able to really gather myself. I haven't. I haven't been able to gather myself. I haven't been able to collect my thoughts, organize my thoughts, ideas, so on and so forth. Just because I feel like my attention is always being fished for. I feel like something is always trying to get my attention. Something's always trying to look over here, look over here, watch this. It gets to a point where you just gotta disconnect yourself from the things that you indulge in, and so you could really sit down and understand your mind. Now that I've taken the opportunity, and now that I've finally collected myself, I could only advocate for you to collect yourself as well. I'm unsure what you're going through as an individual. I'm unsure of your age and at what stage of life you're in. I'm unsure of how deep of troubles you're going through, or of how high or of how high your joys are. I'm unsure. I could only put myself. I could only tell my own story in hopes that you relate. I could only share my knowledge in hopes that you can learn. But now that I've collected myself, my time has slowed down. My time has slowed down. My thoughts have lined up. My thoughts have lined up. And that's how I kind of returned back here. Um, this was, well, it's backwards, but this was the goal for this year. It's currently May 10th, 2026, Mother's Day. To all the mothers, happy birthday. To all the mothers, happy Mother's Day. And to all the grandmas too, and all the aunties. The goal is 1K. 1K subscribers by the end of this year. I wrote that on my birthday, November 9th. I wrote that on my birthday. I share the same birthday as Corey Kenshin. I wrote that on my birthday. And I heard there was a study where people who write down their goals, they're more than most likely to achieve them. But every day I do see that goal, and it somewhat gets neglected. I don't look at it as a goal. I just look at it as like decoration. But now that I've collected myself, now that I've collected my thoughts, that's changed. 1K is not bad. 1K is not hard. Of the 8 billion people on Earth, I feel as though there may be a few that I could resonate to, and that I could possibly help, and that I could possibly share my information, and I might get a little giggle. I don't know. But it's only a goal if you're willing to achieve it. If it's not a goal that you're willing to achieve, then what is it? Of course, some goals are humongous. Become a billionaire, go to the moon, whatever. Those are possible goals. But what is a goal without a plan? beforehand, I didn't really have a plan to achieve 1K. I didn't have a plan to create a community of 1,000 people. I just wrote it. Of course, I had ideas. Of course, but I didn't have a plan. A goal without a plan is just an idea. And so now I've collected myself. Now that I've been honest with myself, and now that I've understood that compensating for who I am in terms of what I produce, in terms of what I post, in terms of what I share, compensating for who I am is not for me. Staying true to my morality, staying true to what I stand for, that's who I am, and that's why I'm back. My life moves fast, and there's a beauty in that. When it comes to going fast, it's beautiful if you know how to control it. And I know how to control my speed. I know how to control my car. Right? Some people don't know how to handle their own car yet, and that's fine. Right? That's fine. If a burnout happens, that's fine. I've had burnouts before. But there's a beauty in a burnout when it comes to controlling your car. Because some of the most beautiful burnouts either turn into beautiful recoveries, or some of the most mesmerizing drifts turn a burnout into a drifted out donut. There's a beauty in knowing how to control your speed and understanding how to recover your burnouts. My burnout came from kind of going too fast, and I hit the brakes, and we're back on track. Now, in terms of going forward, my content is most likely going to be much more or much less like high flashy and much less sound effects, right? It's going to be a few cuts here and there. That's fine. A few cuts here and there. But I stand for valuing your attention span. So why would I produce something that would kind of dwindle down your attention span? If you're here, still listening, that's amazing. And I thank you for it. I thank you. The reality will set in. This background will change, and the reality will set in of my true life. But I thank you for it. So I hit the brakes, and I'm back.